Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our webinar, Revolutionizing Engagement, Leveraging AI to Serve the Modern Sports Fan. I'm Renate, and I'm the host for today's session. We have an exciting and informative webinar lined up for you, and I'm super excited to be here with you today. Before we dive into the speakers and the content, I would like to encourage you to participate. And for that, you can use the chat feature to submit any questions, share your thoughts or comments. And we have time at the end of the session for Q&A, and we'll do our best to answer your questions in the chat during the session itself. So before we start, let me first introduce our speakers. So we have Adam Haliva, Business Development for EMEA from WSC Sports, and David Prokopovits, I hope I got your name right, Industry Manager, E-commerce and Sports from Google. Just a quick review of what the agenda is for today. We'll start with David to talk about basically sports consumption trends and the fan dynamics. Then we'll move on to Adam, who will talk about how sports media rights holders are reinventing sports fan engagement and show some really cool examples. And then we'll have some time for Q&A. So let's get started with our first speaker, who'll kick off the... Hi, David. How are you?
Good morning. Good afternoon, everybody. It's great to be here. And first of all, thanks for having me. Frankly speaking, if someone told me like 2 or 3 years ago that I'll be talking about sport and media in front of such a group of experts and professionals, I would probably have not believed them, to be honest. So it's a great privilege for me to be here with all of you guys. WSC Sport asked me to talk and chat about trends in sport media landscape, and I thought, at the very beginning that it's gonna be easy. Like, we've got tons of trends that are happening right now, right? But it's not that easy, to be honest, because I jotted down over 30 trends, detailed trends, specific trends. I put all of them on the list, and you know what? It was really challenging for me, because what's the point of talking about trend by trend for like an hour? It's probably useless. If you want to, to jump into the specific trends that I was talking about, the list of them, you should probably visit my link and feel free to connect if you're interested. But I just made a step back while looking at those list of trends, and I have like a vision. You know what? Who's behind the change, the trends? Because if you want to truly understand where the trends come from, we really need to ask the proper question. And the most important, the most crucial question is who? Who is behind all of these trends? Actually, who, I would say, shapes the trends and decide what's good and what's not good, what's good and what isn't. And ultimately, if you look from this perspective, you will say it's the fan. Ultimately, it's the fan or the fandom, as you can call it, the cohort of super engaged fans. And we need to actually reach the fan, talk to them in an effective way. And that leads to even more questions. When is the best time to talk, and how? How should we communicate with the fan? And I'm gonna put some risky statement here. That's my, I would say, personal statement or opinion, because I really believe that we can divide the time into 2 parts. One part is now or never. It's this exact moment. In this very moment, a crucial one. learn. And the second part is it's simply too late. And there is no in between. And the same case is for reaching the fans. And I believe that talking to the fans here and now means using video. But it's not a video as we often present it. It's sometimes we just think of video as a simple type of online content, but that's simply not enough. I really want you to suggest looking at video as a language of communication. Okay. Today I'm speaking to you in English, or at least I'm trying to, but usually I'm speaking Polish, right? But look, the communication between us, it's in video format. Video is the most accessible and universal language of online communication. End of story. The video is the most, I would say, important one. And so please think of video in this way as a common global language for talking to your fans. The important thing is that it's not a passing trend. This is how we communicate, and we will communicate online, and we need to be ready. But here's the video. What does it actually mean, the video? In my opinion, it means that we can't limit ourselves to only one or two types of video, like popular match highlights or goals or whatever. Because the data is clear. Fans want a full spectrum of video content, from highlights, interview, entertainment, joy, analysis, watch long, etc. Here's I would say, great example. The biggest football club on YouTube, FC Barcelona, more than 70 million subscribers. Really the king of YouTube. But look, every day there's something new. Great and engaging videos day after day. More than 5-6 uploads per day. Very diverse, very unique. The FC Barcelona already knows that. The winners on the YouTube actually know that that different fans got different needs, and let's give them what they actually need. So I truly believe that we can't speak the language of video while stopping only on a few only formats. So guys, let's test different approach to video. That's simple as that. Challenging, but at the same time, it's really simple. So honestly, if you ask me what's the best content, I would say all of them. All of them. Please do not limit yourself to your favorite type of content like highlights or recaps from the matches. This is like a side note, but I think this is a quite crucial one. So I want to share an observation about popular short formats. The multi-format approach that we're just talking about, not just goal and not just action. If you look at the types of short content, like from the last Football World Cup 2022, you will see that the most watched, the top viral videos are the ones that offer something more than only goals. The video tells stories, get involved emotionally in something. Tell a joke, make a prediction, ask people. Do not limit ourselves to highlights only, even though they are important. We need to talk to our fans, tell them stories, and simply be closer to them. So I've already talked a bit, so I'll repeat. The ideal time to talk to the fans is always now. 0.0, always. The closer we are, the closer we are at this 0.0, the more effective our conversation with the fans will be. You may ask why. Because even while watching a live match, there is like huge, I would say, natural space for talking to fans. Today, the it takes time to distribute video across all platforms. I think that we all agree with that. But we don't even watch the entire match today, isn't it? We look at our phones. And this is something that younger generation, Gen Z, do the same in the same way. Why shouldn't they actually? Because we live in a it's obvious, but we live in a multitasking era. Even when watching our team exciting match, we chat, we talk, we check live scores, I don't know, order a pizza or visiting social media. So there's a question: why my or your engagement sometimes jumps from the match live and go to the other platform at the same time? There's an example, like Vinicius jumping in. A goal was scored. So what do? We just visit, for instance, social media or YouTube platform and there's a question, to do actually what? To see the goal? We just saw it on the TV screen. Probably it's not only about the replay, it's about engagement. It's all about finding a place where we can, express our emotions through likes, I don't know, comments, through sharing posts, etc. But it's all about building fandom, about feeling like we're, sharing all together. It's something in a greater community, in our fandom, fan base. So this is why I believe this is so important, to provide the content that is engaging, but to provide the content in real time, ASAP, the point zero, end of story. And this is something that I really like, to look at the data. And let me now just simply debunk on two popular myths. The game lasts, for football, 90 minutes. But actually, our interest in this game extend much longer before and after the game. So this is the data from the recent Bayern Munich against Real Madrid game. I don't know if you remember the first leg from the Champions League semifinal. But it wasn't only 90 minutes. The online game lasts longer than 90 minutes. Okay? So in Polish, we've got a term like pompowanie ballonika. In English, it will be probably pumping up the balloon. So, our interest is extended, not to the 90 minutes, but through the whole match day. In Google search, for instance, we look for pre-match info, like lineups, interviews, the news about the team or the broadcast itself. And the same happens actually after the final whistle. Our match experience doesn't end on the pitch. It simply moves online. Why it is so important? Because it shows us we need to follow what our fans want. Simple as that. If you don't give them the info they actually seek, someone else will. Trust me. So you need to be the first source of information before, during, and especially after the game. This is my, the favorite slide here from the entire presentation. Here's the bigger thing. The trend of searching for videos, not Google search, videos on YouTube, right after the match lasts longer. Its intensity is even higher than with Google searches. Because we want to see goals, highlight, interview, fans' reaction. And this is crucial. And at the same time, I believe this is like underestimated trend. At the moment of peak interest in the video, we simply have to be there. We have to provide video and, let our fans get involved. In the last, statement on my side is that this is how your fandom is built, by delivering tailored video when the viewer is most engaged. Thank you guys, and I'm waiting for your question.
Thank- Indeed, we're living in the attention economy, and we definitely need to find those unique and differentiated experience to connect with those fans and keep them engaged, which basically leads us to our next speaker, Adam, our business development manager at WSC Sports. And he will showcase how sports organizations are basically setting new standards and how they are connecting with fans. Hi, Adam.
Thank you, Anit. David, thank you. That was really insightful. And I guess if I can continue the conversation from my point. So here's the change. Who is the audience that we're reaching? Well, we're reaching fans. But fans are compiled of a lot of different groups, right? There's young fans, older fans, casual fans, diehard fans, and all of them. And I guess that leads to the second question is, where are these fans? Well, they're on multiple platforms, exactly like David showed. They're not just tuning in to these live games. They're coming in before the games, on social media, on TV, on and operated platforms, and they're staying a lot longer after the games. So when do we address all of these different segments of fans? Well, as David said, now, which means basically all the time. And how do we do it? So we need to do it with video, because video is the most engaging type of content. We're going to get much more return if we engage these fans with video content, more than if we just send text or graphic images or audio, for example. So there you go. What's the problem? All we need to do is create a lot of video content and personalize it to all kinds of different segments of fans and send it very, very fast all the time. So anybody here who's dealing with sports rights, there's your solution. All you need is a couple 100,000 video clips sent personally very, very fast to all types of different fans. Well, I guess that is a challenge, right? What is the challenge is that creating video content is a painful process. Even if you're a massive production company and you have dozens of different video editors and content strategists, creating actual content is time consuming. It's very laborious work. If anyone here has worked on editing programs, they know that just cutting streams and making different compilations and adding graphics and all of that is very laborious. There is really, because of that, a limit to how much content we can create. I'm sure that when I say the number hundreds of thousands of videos, many of you are cringing in your seats. How is that humanly capable? Maybe humanly it's not, but it is possible. And what happens is with laborious work, which we have a lot of it, is we do tend to kind of forgo the creative process and create a lot of the same content over and over. As David was referring to, everybody's making match highlights, but the fans today expect so much more than just match highlights. Well, this is exactly where WSC Sports AI automation comes to play, because using AI and using our solution, basically you can eliminate the bottleneck of creating this content. You can deliver it on time. You can do it very quickly and simply, and really scale the amount of video content that you do and do it at exponential speed. Do it very, very fast. Maybe should have started by first of all explaining who we are. So we're WSC Sports. We're a sports technology company, and we've been around for over 12 years, and we provide rights holders with cutting-edge AI-based solutions that really help them create any content that they want, anytime, and deliver it anywhere, automatically and in real time. How do we do it? Well, in very lame terms and simply, we receive digital streams, video streams from various rights holders. These can be broadcasters, leagues, or clubs, anybody who's dealing with sports rights. We receive those streams, whether live or archive files. We upload them then to a cloud. We're using different tools such as voice activity detection, OCRs, object detection. Our AI is analyzing in real time every action, if we're talking about football, of the match. So that would be every shot on target, every goal, every assist, goalie save, successful dribble. All of these different actions are being recognized by the AI, which is then making a cut of those actions with a perfect start point and a perfect end point. And why do I say perfect? As our AI, which has over 12 years of the data in sports in it, is trained not to only look, at Kylian Mbappe just shot the ball. It's looking at all the different storytelling aspects of that action. For example, as you know, every goal really starts up with a build-up attack. Then we have the actual goal. Then we have this player celebration, a replay, fan reactions, coaches' reactions. All of these different objective and subjective parameters are taken into account by the AI when it's making the cuts. So then we're actually cutting all the different actions. We're indexing them. We're adding a ranking to all the actions. And then based on our algorithms, we compile different clips. These can be short form highlights or long form highlights or action-based or player-based different compilations, and then automatically publish them anywhere. Any type of social media account, to OTTs, to websites, to apps, to partners, sponsors, players, clubs. Any destination is basically possible, which turns it into a one-stop shop. And the cool thing is that we're not only doing this for football. Our AI today supports over 30 different types of sports. Again, this is I guess a testament to the long track record and experience that we have here at WSC. This is sort of a short list of some of our partners. David's from Poland, where we work with Polsat. We work with TVP. We also work with Canal Plus and also with the Polish Football Federation. So we have a great track record in Poland, and we also work with the biggest partners and names in sports. But again, we're not here just to discuss WSC. I guess, it was important to give a little bit of background of who we are and where our credentials are coming from. But back to this change and back to this challenge. So using AI, we can actually create personalized content, do it very, very fast, and do it on scale. But how does this translate into real life? Like, how are different rights holders actually using the system? So let me tell you some stories. For example, if we're talking about speed, let's talk about the value of 10 minutes. Stan, which is a sports OTT out of Australia and the rights holder for many tennis properties, amongst them the Roland Garros. Now, if we compare Stan's YouTube channel to Poland and WSC, which is the actual brand that fans follow, you'll notice that Stan has a lot less subscribers than Poland and WSC, about 27x less than Poland and WSC. However, during one match day, both Poland and WSC and Stan Australia published highlights of this Federer game, where Poland and WSC posted the highlight video to YouTube at 10:20 p.m. However, Stan, because they were using AI, published that video at 10 past 10 p.m., 10 minutes earlier. What is the value of those 10 minutes? Well, look at the views. Stan garnished over 450,000 views, where Poland and WSC garnished just over 320,000 views. Which means that within 10 minutes, being the first to publish the content onto YouTube, even though they have 27x less subscribers, actually got them 130,000 more views. And this is how you win when it comes to social media, because speed matters. Getting the content out there first, especially in the age of piracy, where sometimes, even though our rights are geo-blocked, although we still get, people are stealing streams and they're uploading content over and over everywhere, being able to be very fast and to get the content out there first has immense value. But now let's talk about also the value of scale. For example, the value of a better told story. And this connects directly to scale. So this is a story coming out of the USGA, US Golf Association. I'm not the biggest golf fan, but I'm sure there are some here in the crowd. So USGA were making that even though the team wasn't that small, from a capacity perspective, they had the ability to create a video from one round on Tiger Woods, back then still the most popular golfer, the biggest story in golf. The men's open winner. This is again, they're summarizing the men's open tournament. So the tour tournament. So they had the men's open winner. They made a highlight video of his best moments. And unfortunately, they never had the capacity to actually create a highlight video for the women's winner. Doesn't mean there wasn't one, but the team didn't have the capacity or didn't feel the need to create a highlight video of the women's winner. Now, I want you also to notice how many views each one of these videos got. So the most followed athlete got the most views. The men's winner got also a nice substantial amount of views. However, once USGA implemented WSC's AI solution, now they eliminated the bottleneck of content creation. They were able to create long-form highlights of their players. Now, if any of you follow golf, you know that it's a very long tournament. It's a very long game day. So apparently, 2.5 minutes just doesn't tell the story enough for golf fans. So, but now with the ability to do it automatically, they create almost an 18-minute video of Tiger Woods. Got 295,000 views. They made also an almost 18 minutes of the men's winner, also garnished over 250,000 video views. And guess what? Now they could also do a full highlight video of the women's winner. Once you eliminate that bottleneck, everything is possible. So what's the value of that? Well, here you go. By using automation, by using and creating long-form highlights for the most popular athlete, the men's winner, and the women's winner, they've increased their views twofold, 11-fold, and infinitely, basically, because they didn't even have that content there before. So here's the ability what does it mean scaling up the amount of content you create? We can create a lot more content, but it's not just about creating a lot more content just for the sake of creating more content. They're creating more content, which is reaching different segments of the fandom. And in this way, they're really maximizing the same game day. They're maximizing this footage. And it's not just about speed. And it's not just about scale, because now I was just alluding to it. It's also about segmentation. In sports, probably the most powerful segmentation is localization. So here's a very cool story coming out of Belgium. So Saint-Ouen is a mid-sized club in the Belgian Pro League. And they have a deep relationship with a Japanese sponsor. And they also have a couple of Japanese players on the team. Well, Saint-Ouen decided then they should open a YouTube channel in Japan. So they have a Japanese localized, their own club YouTube channel, localized for the Japanese market, with footage that's focusing on their Japanese players. Seems kind of a weird decision by a mid-sized club in a mid-sized league in Europe. But look at this. 15x more video views on their Japanese page compared to the actual club's original YouTube channel. 50% increase year over year in their channel video views, thanks on this Japanese channel. And over 240% increase in monthly channel subscribers. So what do we learn from this? Well, it seems that when we live, for example, I'm here in Israel, and obviously I care the most about Israeli athletes playing in different leagues in the world. If any of you are managing teams or you're managing rights in a certain location, then our suggestion would always be focus on those local heroes, as we like to call them. The returns are evident. The data is very clear. Once we localize the content to each different geography, we're going to get maximum value back from that content. I think this is a very cool story. This is something that I would encourage any rights holder to embed into their content strategy. And I think maybe one last story that I'd like to share with you. This is something very cool that we did here in WSC Sports. So it's not only about offering video content, but it's also offering different video experiences, and also trying to look, now that we eliminated this issue of scale, this issue of having to create all these different video types, maybe now we can also look into new destinations outside of Meta, or if I'm talking about Facebook or Instagram or our app or our websites, maybe now we can also look into new destinations that we probably didn't think of them before. So new experiences and new real estate. So here's a very cool story coming out of WSC. We launched over 2 years ago a new product together with Google on Google One Box, which is called Google One Box Stories. If you're not familiar with Google One Box, if you now go on Google search and search any football or basketball or hockey competition or racing competition, the first result, the top result on Google search will be this box that you see on the screen, which usually shows, for example, in football, who are the clubs that are playing each other and what is the score. But when the game is live, you'll notice that there's this thumbnail, this video thumbnail on the One Box. And when the users click it, they actually move into a mobile adapted experience, which is very similar to Instagram stories, which is a live story of that match happening. It's not a live feed of the stream itself, of the game itself, but it's actually the key moments of the game, which are picked by the AI, cropped, added with a graphic overlay, and uploaded to this Google One Box Story experience. Now, we did this during the last World Cup. Today, we work with over 60 different rights holders on Google One Box Stories, but here's just some cool statistics from the last World Cup. Google One Box Stories garnished over 362 million total impressions. The click-through rates, as this being a near live experience, so you really tap into, David was showing this in his graphs, you're really reaching the peak of search during the games themselves. So we have high intent clicks, over 30% click-through rates to the rights holders on and off. And we did this with only 13 broadcasters worldwide. As I mentioned today we're doing this with over 60 different rights holders worldwide. So this is just another cool example of when we actually remove that bottleneck of creating the content, and now we can focus on maybe showing new experiences and even tapping to new real estate. This is another huge value and how we're really meeting this challenge of having to create a lot of content, personalize it, and have it published everywhere all the time. By the way, this is a very cool sneak peek. As you can imagine, Google One Box Stories is going to be a big deal also for the upcoming Euros and also for the upcoming games in Paris. And this is a small example of how the Google One Box Story is going to actually take the most exciting actions of the Olympics for each country, for their national team, and put that into story mode during the Olympics themselves as a daily recap. Very excited to see this play out. And if I could summarize what automation technology, what AI can actually help you achieve, can really help you achieve and meet this consumption change that David was talking about earlier, and really unlock the full potential of your content, helping you to really increase, like we said, with scale and speed, increase your reach and engagement with fans across all platforms. You're on an operated social media, different third parties. You can now create infinite different narratives and provide stories in the game and around the game seamlessly. And we didn't talk a lot about that today, but I'm sure many of you can already understand that this also unlocks new monetization opportunities or maximizes current monetization opportunities, which really helps drive us a greater revenues for rights holders. Now, before we end, I'm sure that many of you have encountered AI tools in the last year, I'm assuming, such as ChatGPT and Bard, maybe DALL-E. So everybody's talking about generative AI, and really generative AI is the future in many, many different industries, and is going to impact all our lives in many ways. And sports is no different. And of course, as being an AI company with over 12 years of experience in sports, we're already very deep and have already introduced a number of generative AI products into the market. So let me give you maybe a small sneak peek today to kind of the future of generative AI in sports. And what I can already assure you is that it's going to have a massive impact on our entire ecosystem. Generative AI is going to change the way we create content. It's probably going to create completely new products and experiences, which will create new workflows in creating this content, like redefine the experience for the fans, and going to unlock a whole new world of revenue streams, which are related maybe to rights and experiences and in services and in products. So I guess we've reached the end of our webinar today. So Anit, I'm handing over the microphone back to you. Thank you for the time.
Okay, cool, Adam. Really great stuff. Definitely, as we say here, content is king and video is the king of content. Adam and David, please show your screens. I think we have a few questions that came up from the audience. We have a few minutes for that. David, can you show your screen? Cool. So I think it's a good segue. Basically, you started talking about the future of AI, and we talked about the Gen AI. So maybe we should address this question that came from the audience about looking ahead. What emerging technologies or trends for fan engagement in the sports industry, basically. So, David, if you have any thoughts on that.
Yeah, that's a great question. To be honest, I expect the one to appear from the chat. I do really believe that first of all, the personalization of the content, of the video content, especially, will stay with us for long. Sometimes we can hear that there is a trend of augmented reality, VR, etc. That's going to be my personal reflection on the one. I do not truly believe that in that trend, especially because of many things, and one of it is accessibility, because you need to afford those, quite costly devices to put on your around your head and to experience the sport, the broadcast in a totally new dimension. I'm curious how it will evolve, but I do not believe in that augmented reality and VR will be more prominent trend than, for instance, AI-based solutions. That is exactly what Adam already mentioned. But I would add another piece into this AI-based story, which is, I would say, the broadcast standpoint. Because, for instance, for me, the ability to offer an AI-based commentary live and to make it accessibly globally, that would be amazing. And I believe that definitely AI solution will be there, will stay with us for a long time. And that's pretty much it, I think. Adam?
Yeah, I think I think AI and augmented reality. It's not. I'd say they're linked together. Basically, what both David and I have really stated today is that all I see is that all the rights holders need to create more content. If it's augmented content, if it's the content that we're making yesterday, and if it's the content we're making today, it's definitely the content we're going to make tomorrow. So the biggest challenge, I believe, is how do organizations, big and small, tap and manage that challenge of creating so much content. And this is where I think this is the biggest advantage within AI, because I don't believe that AI can replace the creativity of content people, of editors, of basically human beings. Like, we know what we like, we have emotions, we don't always know to explain why we like these type of videos. How do we turn these emotions into algorithms and mathematics? So we still need the creative people to think about these experiences, but it's actually creating these experiences, which is the biggest challenge. And this is where the AI really is going to play, I think, a pivotal role. And it's, of course, we live also in an economy of growth, which we're always expecting to improve year over year. If it's within, getting more subscribers or getting more fans or selling more tickets or selling more jerseys or getting, selling our rights for more and more money, then again, here we need to create a bigger inventory. We need to create more and more and more content. So this is, again, I think this is, as many people are talking about these days, this AI is not here to replace anybody, but it's to give us the tools to deal with what's being changed really, which is the reality.
Okay. I think one more question that I can address for both of you, and this came in also, is a question about, like, how do we decide, basically, content strategies are here to drive awareness and engagement and to grow the business, as you both said. So how do we decide eventually which content to deliver to whom and on what platform? So maybe we start with you.
So I do believe that there's only one way, to be honest. You can test it. There's no other way because we've got so many, analytical platform for, I don't know, YouTube, TikTok, etc. First of all, you need to verify whether it's just useful for you to to provide such a variety of formats when it comes to video. But definitely, also, I know this is might sound silly, but ask your fans. There are a lot of stuff here within the online platform that you can directly ask your fans whether they enjoy it or not. Simply. So first of all, you need to try it. You need to test it. You need to verify it. Be brave. Try not to limit yourself, and to stay with a 1 or 2 or 3 format. Test it, verify it, and if it works, just work on it, scale it.
Be brave,
Yeah.
be bold.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I totally agree. Couldn't agree even more. And maybe to add to that, I'd say, when organizations today are looking at their content strategy as a whole, okay, I would suggest that we have to accept the fact that we don't live in a world of or. It's not putting my content on my app or on YouTube. It's not about sharing my content on a third-party website or on my OTT. We live in a world of and. We need to share the content on the OTT and with the third party and on social media and on our own operated websites and apps. We need to have this content everywhere. It's about right segmentation, just like David is alluding to, about showing there's different audiences on all of these different platforms in the year. We need to personalize or localize or to segmentize the content in a smart way, so we're really getting maximum return on the value of this content. And so I think, again, it's a world of and, it's not a world of or, and this is the way to build a strong content strategy.
Okay, so I think it's time to wrap up this session. And thank you both, Adam and David, for sharing your experiences. It's been fantastic, and really I appreciate your insights. And also I want to thank all of you who joined us today. I hope you find this interesting and useful. Just keep an eye on your inbox. We will follow up with the recording of the webinar, and just follow us on our LinkedIn. And again, thanks. Have a wonderful day, and let's stay in touch.